So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about RFID chips being inserted into people's hands. So in Sweden, people are receiving microchips in their hands. And as always, I always have to give you scripture. Now, I'm not saying that these microchips are the mark of the beast, because they are not. But people are being conditioned to receive the mark of the beast. So as always, I'm going to give you scripture, and I'm going to start in the book of Revelation, starting at chapter 13, verse 11. And then I saw another beast rising out of the earth. He had two horns like a lamb, and he spoke like a dragon. He exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence, and causes the earth and those who dwell on it to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. He performs great signs, making fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. He deceives those who dwell on the earth by the signs which he was granted to do in the presence of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast, who was wounded by a sword and lived. He was allowed to give the breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. He causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand and on their forehead, so that no one may buy or sell except he who has the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is a call for wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast. It is the number of a man. His number is 666. So like I said, this comes from Revelation chapter 13, starting at verse 11 through verse 18. Once again, the microchip is not the mark of the beast, but it is a precursor for the mark of the beast. People are being conditioned with these microchips to receive the mark of the beast. In this video, I am going to share with you people who live in Sweden, and they are willingly getting microchips implanted into their hands. So let's get into these videos so you can see for yourself.
When Elias Boatberger goes to work, he doesn't need ID. And he doesn't need money. In fact, much of what he needs to get through the day is hidden right there, just below the surface, in his hand.
Like touch it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, weird. Yeah, it's like a grain of rice.
Yeah, a grain of rice.
Embedded in his hand is a microchip that serves as his keys, his ID, and his wallet.
Yeah, it's all in chip, so I use it like to get around the building.
Buy snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's buy some snacks.
Exactly.
So I can't open it.
No.
Okay.
So what I need to do is I need to first blip my chip, and it will log me in, and from there I get access to the fridge.
Popular TV shows like Black Mirror have imagined chips as part of a dystopian future.
Install ingrain procedure with local anesthetic and you're good to go.
In Sweden, the microchips are already here.
The microchip implants use the same technology that's in contactless credit cards.
Which have made cash pretty much obsolete in Sweden.
No cash.
At this tech fair, a chipping event for those on the cutting edge, merging their hands with this new technology.
I thought it would be fun, right?
The process is simple and swift. A pinch of the skin, and in a matter of seconds, the chip is inserted. The transformation is complete. As for the pain,
I barely felt it.
But even in this nation of early adopters, not everyone is racing to get chipped.
Feel less human. I will feel like a robot. I think, it's so much more data can go into this, when it's in your body.
There's no central registry tracking how many people are chipped, but biohacker Hannes Relblad estimates between 5 and 10,000.
In the future, do you think everyone is going to be chipped?
I think it will be voluntary, but I am certainly convinced that millions of people will find it very, very valuable to have a smart device under their skin.
Human microchipping may be our future, but in Sweden, it's already reality. Sarah Harmon, NBC News, Stockholm.
I'll make a fist and squeeze the tag to the top of my skin. And when I approach the device, it opens the Facebook page I set it to.
Colin Crovino has a microchip implanted in both of his hands.
Some people just look really grossed out. I put my hand up and I let them poke at it and they freak out.
Developed in the 1950s and 60s, RFID chips, short for radio frequency identification, have been used by retailers to track packages and prevent theft. Farmers use the chips to keep tabs on their livestock. Pet owners use them to identify their cats and dogs. And lately, members of the so-called body hacker movement have been implanting RFID chips under their skin, programming them to perform various tasks. Colin Crovino, a smartphone repairman in Brooklyn, New York, uses his chips to open his front door. He found them on a website called Dangerous Things that sells implant kits and offers user tips.
I came across it when I was doing research on the Samsung deadbolt that I bought. And then the first thing that I noticed was that I could get an RFID tag that would work with the deadbolt.
Crovino plans to modify one of his motorcycles next.
And I haven't decided on where I want to put the authenticator, the antenna. Thinking probably down by the seat somewhere because this comes off. So I would just tap my hand on it. Then the light would come on as if I put the key in. And then I would just hit the ignition and start the vehicle.
RFID retailers estimate that between 30 and 50,000 people worldwide have chip implants in their bodies. German tech consultant Andreas Sjöström used his chip as a boarding pass on a recent flight from Stockholm to Paris, and to get into an airport VIP lounge. Skeptics say the implants raise privacy issues and worry that strangers could tap into the information on a chip without the owner's knowledge. Others say potential uses for the technology, such as keeping track of a patient with dementia, could pose ethical concerns. But Crovino and others see a future where technology and the human form will merge.
I think when it becomes more prevalent and there's a lot more things and options that you can do with this, that people will, opt in for that kind of augmented human sort of attitude. That's why I have an Android device and not an iPhone, is because I want to be able to customize everything I have, so why should I not be able to customize myself?
Well, Elon Musk's next project isn't a car or a spaceship or a solar panel. The executive's latest startup is called Neuralink, which focuses on the goal of implanting chips into human brains and also connecting brains to computers. Here's what Elon Musk said at a conference in California about the technology last night.
This, I think, has a very good purpose, which is to cure important diseases and ultimately to help secure humanity's future as a civilization relative to AI. This, I think, has tremendous potential, and we hope to have this aspirationally in a human patient before the end of next year. So this is not far.
Not far, he says. The implantation of the neuron, the implantation of the neuron-sized threads requires the use of a special robot, but Musk said it's a minimally invasive surgery. So Thornton, I'm sure that means you'll be getting one soon.
I'm gonna get a few for the kids with my 23andMe kit.
Naturally,
surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, the disease thing sounds great. That seems very awesome for humanity. But I am definitely thinking that for me, if I'm Elon, chips and brains drive the car, car's automated. Your Tesla is going to appreciate. Problem solved. All you have to do is get people to put chips in their brains, and Teslas will appreciate and value like he promised.
I mean, there's a lot of use cases.
I love that analysis.
There's a lot of use cases.
This is how you got to think. I think Elon. That's how you got to get.
Yeah. I mean, I wish he would get those self-driving cars going. I mean, that would be an achievement in itself. But yes, if he's dealing with people who have neurological diseases, spinal cord injuries, and they can be connected through this device, and it can help them, then great. But if Elon Musk is coming for my brain, forget it. I definitely am not interested.
I mean, there are a lot of people working on that too, right? Specifically when we're talking about trying to figure out how the brain can send messages to a computer or to a machine in terms of people like you mentioned, Sabine, who have mobility problems. But you figure out how to work things that way. There's a lot of companies working on it. Part of the reason why he actually held this event was to get the name out there and also help hire people. Because right now he's only got I don't even know if it's 100 people working there, but it's smaller, much smaller than any of the other companies he has out there. But trying to get people to jump on board and come say, no, this is the company that's going to be getting things done.
Yeah, I mean, for those who. So let's switch gears a little bit. So you have something else that's really interesting in the newsletter about people in Sweden putting implants, microchips, right, into them. We've seen something like this here. There was a company that
in Wisconsin,
right, so they could get stuff out of the vending machine with these microchips. So what's happening in Sweden?
So basically in Sweden over the past couple of years, several thousand people have had these little rice grain-sized microchips put into their hands, which contain information that they can use to, say, check into the gym or get into the office or pay for train tickets, right? So on the one hand, everyone can appreciate that that's convenient, right? How many times have you been looking for your key fob at the gym or can't remember your password for something? But I think the bigger question here is, look, as the human body itself becomes a technological platform, right, there are big questions we need to consider about what kind of information is put out about us, from us, quite literally, and also further down the line, what kind of access do other people or platforms have to that information that is inside us, right? This is a biotech question, this kind of blurring of the lines between the human body and tech. I mean, it's one thing if you're holding your smartphone and it's sort of emitting data about you. It's another thing if your own hand is doing the same thing.
So, like 3,000 people signed up for this. Are they not as concerned about hacking and privacy and all the things that we can't stop talking about over here?
Yeah, polls show that actually Sweden is one of the countries where concerns about misuse of data is actually lower than other countries in Europe. But, you know, we'll see. This is 3,000 people. This is a small experiment. It's been developing over the past several years. But as the information that these microchips contains gets more elaborate and more detailed, people may start to change their mind and demand more protection of their privacy.
Most cutting-edge thing about Hannes Sjöblad isn't the phone in his hand. It's the microchip actually in his hand. The tiny implant is the latest advance in a biohacking technology that is steadily becoming a part of normal life in Sweden.
We have created a new implant, which is not a chip, it's a full device where you can add different lights, different vibration, different functions. Sweden is a very tech-literate society. And I think this is the main explanation, really, why a lot of Swedes are adopting chip implants.
Swedes haven't been shy about upgrading themselves with the new version. Thousands already have microchip implants that they use in their daily lives, waving their hand to gain entrance to the gym, confirm their ID, or make payments. A short moment of pain not putting them off becoming part Swede, part machine.
This event is an implant party, simply where ordinary people can show up and get a microchip embedded under their skin. The biohacking movement in Sweden is hosting them all over Europe, but it's at home where they get the most willing recipients.
I think it's really cool. You don't have to carry any keys or anything. It's just your body. In maybe 10 years, everything will be in your hand.
In Sweden, more than anywhere else, the future is already here. The national train company SJ has around 2,600 people signed up to use microchips instead of train tickets. And no need to mind the generation gap. 18-year-old Felicia and father Magnus still bear the scars of their new implants. Student Hannah Herving is also freshly chipped and now just needs to program it to open doors. Although, importantly for a future career, it does already connect to her LinkedIn.
Some people say I'm mad that I don't know if it's safe and all that, but people have been putting these chips into animals for 20 years, so I'm not worried about that.
The long-term goal is for the new chips to help provide medical care in remote communities. They're already getting under the skin of the Swedes. They may soon become just another normal part of modern life and of the human body. Paul Rees, Al Jazeera, Lund, Sweden.
The RFID chips is not the mark of the beast. You cannot accidentally get the mark of the beast. When that time comes, you will know if you are receiving the mark of the beast. If you get the mark of the beast, you will be pledging your allegiance to Satan. And there is no coming back from receiving the mark of the beast. I pray that this video has been helpful to you. Thanks for watching.